We are the voice of integrity situated on the hills of Mokola here in the beautiful city of Ibadan. Welcome once again to Newslands. You know how we do it on the show every weekday on this dial. We are from the hours of 7 until around 8 a.m. We bring you some of the major newspaper headlines from that report that some of these newspaper report this on a daily basis. We read out the headlines for you, and then we come back to review and analyze these stories together. And this morning won't be different because we are ready and we are set to do the needful this morning. We do justice to some of the headlines this morning. And then I have my analyst in the studio with me. You also get to be a part of the conversation this morning. When the time comes, we open the phone lines for you to join the conversation. And then you share your views and thoughts as regards some of the things we'll be discussing in the show, in the studios this morning. And of course, you also get to be a part of the show via Facebook this morning. We are streaming live on Facebook at omoluwabi 87.7 FM. We are streaming live at omoluwabi 87.7 FM. So you can be a part of the program by watching us live and dropping your comments on Facebook this morning. Okay, without more ado, my name is Oluwatayo Ajiwole, and of course I'm reporting for duty this lovely day, the 10th day in the month of October 2024. How are you doing this morning? Studio time check, it's 4 minutes gone past the hour of 7 o'clock, and then we are happy and excited to be here once again. Just before we go on, we read out the headlines first, and after which we come back to analyze some of the stories that we have this morning. This morning I have the Nigerian Tribune, the Vanguard newspaper, the Guardian newspaper, and of course the Punch newspaper with me in the studio. So very shortly we'll read out the headlines first. All right, like I said, we have 4 newspapers this morning, and of course, this first one will be taking my first headline from the Guardian newspaper this morning. With this one saying frustration. Okay, let me take the key card. Which one say World Mental Health Day? Frustration, hardships sink more Nigerians into depression. World Mental Health Day. Frustration, hardship sink more Nigerians into depression. You can see an infographics as usual here on the front page of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Says health facilities see 200% rise in mental cases. A lot of analysis here on the front page of the Guardian newspaper this morning. If you're interested in that story, you can pick a copy of the Guardian newspaper and see some of the way they analyzed how frustration and hardship is sinking more Nigerians into depression. Maybe patriotism is part of it, so you can see it here. But let's move on this morning. We'll talk more about that later. We have this one saying Army detains general over theft of palliative rice, military equipment. Interesting one there. Army detains general over theft of palliative rice, military equipment. That story is on page 29 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. PDP NWC splits over internal crisis. PDP National Working Committee splits over internal crisis. More of that story is on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Confusion as Senate insists on full LG autonomy. Confusion as Senate insists on full LG autonomy. Can get full details of that story on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Emefiele violated Naira redesign procedure. Ex-CBN chiefs testifies. Emefiele violated Naira redesign procedure. Ex-CBN chiefs testifies. Can get full details of that story on page 5 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Ayedatiwa sacks aid over alleged 30 million naira bribe. Others probe. Ayedatiwa sacks aid over alleged 30 million naira bribe. Others probe. More of that story is on page 7 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. More pains for Nigerians as PMS eats 1,000 naira per litre, threatens survivor. More pains for Nigerians as PMS eats 1,000 naira per litre, threatens survivor. You can get full details of that story on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Still from the Guardian newspaper, we have this one. Saying Edo talks disrupt PDP inspection of beavers as INEC shifts inspection of materials. Okay, Edo talks disrupt PDP inspection of beavers as INEC shifts inspection of materials. Full details of that story is on page 25 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. And that's all we have from the Guardian newspaper this lovely Thursday morning. All right, next paper we have for review this morning, we have the Vanguard newspaper this morning. With this one as a banner headline on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper, talking about petrol price. Anger as petrol price goes up, third time in 2 months. Anger as petrol price goes up, third time in 2 months. That's a good one there. Says price up by 15% to 1,030 naira per litre in Abuja, 998 in Lagos. We are seeing complete deregulation. We're speaking there, that's coming from marketers are saying they are seeing complete deregulation. Latest increase are regrettably ill-timed. Latest increase are regrettably ill-timed. That's coming from CPPE. Untold hardship for workers looms. Untold hardship for workers looms. That's coming from the NCMDLCA. Impact will serve. With impact to be severe on businesses, as Asborn is speaking, will further erode citizens' purchasing power. That's coming from NECA and some analysts there. Nigerians being pushed to the wall. Some organizations they are seeking, saying that Shehu Sani Baptist Conference, IAB seek Tinubu's intervention. NLC demands reversal, says it's an aberration. I can get full details of that story on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. It says anger as petrol prices goes up, third time in 2 months. Nigerians might not be happy about that, but then it is what it is at this time. Okay, let's move on. Military lacks weapons. Military lacks weapons. Morale to defeat. Military lacks weapons. Morale to defeat terrorists in Dume. Military lacks weapons. Morale to defeat terrorists in Dume. Speaking there, you can get full details of that story on page 13 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Federal government gazettes executive order on zero VAT excise duty for manufacturing firms. Federal government gazettes executive order on zero VAT excise duties for manufacturing firms. You can get full details of that story on page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Gunmen attack army camp, kill soldiers in Imo. Gunmen attack army camp, kill soldiers in Imo. Full details of that story is on page 11 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Net foreign exchange inflow rises 67% to $27.6 billion. That's an interesting one there. We have this one saying net foreign exchange inflow rises to 67% to $27.6 billion. Can get full details of that story on page 19 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Unilag UI lose top rankings as CU emerges best Nigerian university in 2024. Unilag UI lose top rankings as CU emerges best Nigerian university in 2024. You can get full details of that story on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Army probes brigade commander over alleged diversion of palliatives. Army probe brigade commander over alleged diversion of palliatives. You can get full details of that story on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Federal government will flush out bandits, criminals from Northwest. That's coming from Matawali. Federal government will flush out bandits, criminals from Northwest. Matawali speaking there. Can get full details of the story on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Still from the Vanguard newspaper, we have this one saying AFCON 2025 quarterfinal. AFCON 2025 full house in Uyo. Super Eagles get set to play Libya. Okay. AFCON 2025 full house in Uyo. Super Eagles get set to peck Libya. You can get full details of that story on page 30 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Very quickly, let's move on to the Nigerian Tribune. With this one talking about the issue of fuel too. Seeing NLC kicks as NNPC sells petrol for 998 naira in Lagos, 1,025 naira in Ibadan, 1,030 naira in Abuja. The story has some writer here says brace up for further inflation, higher cost of goods, services. Wellsgate advisory boss speaking there. New pump price are gradually reflecting the regulated market. That's coming from the operators there. I can get full details of that story on page 3, saying NLC kicks as NNPC sells petrol for 998 naira in Lagos, 1,025 naira in Ibadan, and 1,030 naira in Abuja. You can get full details of that story on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. PDP, new push to oust Damagum as national chairman. PDP, new push to oust Damagum as national chairman. The story has a writer here saying as Utan insists position must go to Benue Zone B. Two key members of NWC clash over root causes of PDP crisis. You can get full details of that story on page 19 of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. LG autonomy don't circumvent Supreme Court judgment. Senate caution states LGs. LG autonomy don't circumvent Supreme Court judgment. Senate caution states LGs. You can get more of that story on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. And then we have this one saying FG to Gazette zero VAT on pharmaceutical products. FG to Gazette zero VAT on pharmaceutical products. Full details of the stories on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. Alleged misconduct. Army removes brigade commander, begins probe. Alleged misconduct. Army removes brigade commander, begins probe. More details of that stories on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. Federal government will flush out bandits, terrorists from northwest. That's coming from Matawali. Federal government will flush out bandits, terrorists from northwest. Matawali speaking there. Full details of the stories on page 19 of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. And lastly, let's see what we have from the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning. 1,030 naira per litre. 1,030 naira per litre price. NLC demands reversal as fuel queues resurfaces. 1,030 naira per litre. NLC demands reversal as fuel queues resurface. You can see the rider here saying petrol nears 1,300 naira per litre. In states as NNPC hikes pump price again. APC opposition clash. Full details of that story on page 2 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Senate faults governors fresh move on LG allocation. Senate faults governors fresh move on LG allocations. You can get full details of that story on page 30 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Tinubu government borrowed $6.45 billion from World Bank. That's a report there. Tinubu government borrowed $6.45 billion from World Bank. The report is on page 21 of the Punch newspaper this morning. North Central PDP caucus presents Damagum's replacement October 24. North Central PDP caucus presents Damagum's replacement October 24. Full details of that story is on page 11 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Rivers CP visits raised LG secretariat as probe begins. Rivers CP visits raised LG secretariat as probe begins. More of that story is on page 30 of the Punch newspaper this morning. And we have this one saying Buhari didn't approve Emefiele's Naira redesign. Ex-CBN deputy governor speaking there. Buhari didn't approve Emefiele's Naira redesign. Ex-CBN deputy governor speaking. Check the full details of that story on page 16 of the Punch newspaper this morning. 20-year-old Ogun fund seeker drawn in hotel pool. 20-year-old Ogun fund seeker drowned in hotel pool. Can get full details of that story on page 5 as a sad one there of the Punch newspaper this morning. Edo PDP APC clash stores pool materials inspection. Edo PDP APC clash stores pool materials inspection. You can get full details of that story on page 16 of the Punch newspaper this morning. And still from the Punch newspaper, you can see the picture of people having to queue for fuel on the street of Nigeria. It's also sad. People have to buy petrol at over 1,000 naira this time. But then it is what it is. Like I said earlier, we can't just do that just to say we will overcome one day. All right, sir. Without much ado, we would like to pay some bills at this time. But do not forget that we are streaming live on Facebook this morning at omoluwabi 87.7 FM. Omoluwabi 87.7 FM. We are streaming live on Facebook this morning. You can go drop your comments there and share your views also on that page. Omoluwabi 7.7 FM. Go watch us and drop your comment there. And then when time comes, we open the phone lines for you to join the conversation. But then before we go into the analysis and some of those things, reading your comments and taking your calls, let's pay some bills. And when we come back, News Lens will continue. And then we review some of the headlines together.
The voice of integrity, 87.7 FM.
At break time, when my champ needs to keep going, he's going to need his favorite snack, made with the goodness of malt, milk, cocoa, and crunchy Niger-grown maize, containing calcium, iron, and fiber.
break time is crunch time. So give your chance this delicious crunchy delight to keep them winning all day. Milo and a snack of future champions. Milo!
Hello?
Hello there. I'm at the hospital right now because the kills are seriously ill. I've been on a long queue and the doctor is here to attend to me. I don't know what to do again.
You know what? How about the numbers I gave you while leaving?
Oh, the e-Dokita numbers?
Yes.
Call them right away. They will attend to you immediately.
Hello?
Darling, just like magic. Junior is playing. Even Princess is eating like an adult.
You know I've told you to calm down. Our family is covered with e-Dokita Premium Plan. With eDokita, you have access to healthcare at your fingertips. Stop wasting your productive hours while waiting in the clinic for doctor. Subscribe today to any of eDokita plans and enjoy online chat and call consult, laser therapy, medical outreach, and home care services. Simply dial 0704-714-2000 or 0701-000-8670. Log on to www.edokita.com or visit us at eDokita, number 2 Ocean Street, New Bodija, Ibadan. eDokita, inspiring wellness.
What's up, Niger? Can you feel the vibe?
I'm feeling vibes on vibes.
The loudest banger.
Another banger, baby.
Omoluwabi 87.7 FM. Here to redefine urban radio experience. With amazing sound.
We the best music. They play themselves.
Intriguing shows.
If you lie, I'm gonna run away from you.
No,
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go if you lie. Look into my eyes and tell me that you didn't miss me.
And engaging content.
So what's your contribution on the show?
Okay, are you talking about this cashless country?
You will love radio more. The voice of integrity, 87.7 FM.
Alrighty, welcome back to Still News Lens right here on omoluwabi 87.7 FM. And just before we went on that break, we thought we'll come back and analyze some of the stories fully this morning. And this morning I have Kayode Ajani with me in the studio this morning. Good morning, Kayode.
Good morning, Tayo. Good morning, Nigeria.
And of course, I have Komido Moju with me in the studio this morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me once again.
Okay, yeah, something very interesting this morning again. Nigerians are angry. As a matter of fact, my studio manager is angry this morning, and he's been venting his anger, saying why would they increase pump price at this time again? But then we won't look at that side first. We look at some other places now. Let's see some perspective on the front page of the Guardian. So we're talking about the petrol pump price. Vis-a-vis how it's affecting Nigerians at this time. But the Vanguard has something interesting on the front page this morning. I would love us to talk about it this morning. World Mental Health Day. Frustration, hardship sink more Nigerians into depression. World Mental Health Day. Frustration, hardship sink more Nigerians into depression. You can see some of the root causes of these things. Vanguard has it here, saying life expectancy in Nigeria is now 56 years old. Standard of living has dropped drastically. Multidimensional poverty, 63%. Many Nigerians are poor. Can't even say the reason for their poverty. They are just poor. We have petrol pump price as one of the key factors of depression in Nigeria. Also, you can see everything. Unemployment is on the increase. Unemployment rate is 5.3%. More Nigerians borrow to feed. Makes you wonder, most of these magic bank are not thriving in Nigeria this time. Borrow money online and you see all of these things happen. Okay, that's not where we are going to this morning. But then just after that big headline on the front page of the Guardian newspaper, you now see another headline here say more pains for Nigerians as PMS eats 1,000 naira per litre, threatens survival. Full details of that is on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. And then we have this one, same thing on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper, saying anger as petrol price goes up, third time in 2 months. Anger as petrol price goes up, third time in 2 months. Full details of the stories on page 5. That's a lot of riders here. We can get full details of that story from page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. The Nigerian Tribune reports the same thing. Say NLC kicks as NNPC sell petrol for 998 naira in Lagos. In our own Ibadan here, 1,025 naira per litre. And then, of course, in Abuja, 1,030 naira per litre. And then people are talking. There's the rider here says, brace up for further inflation, higher cost of goods services. That's coming from the Wealthgate Advisory boss. We have this one saying, new pump price gradually reflecting the regulated markets. Maybe that's what we want. Subsidy should go finally. The operators are saying maybe that's a welcome development to them. Okay, you can get full details of that story on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. And then from the Punch newspaper, we report the same thing, saying 1,030 naira per litre price. NLC demands reversal as fuel queues resurfaces. And then do we have this one saying petrol nears 1,300 naira per litre in states as NNPC hikes pump price. APC opposition clash. Full details of the stories on page 2 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Kayode Ajani, let's take it from the mental health issue this morning. Many Nigerians are depressed at this time. The Vanguard report saying World Mental Health Day, frustration, hardship sink more Nigerians into depression. And just at when pump price was increased to around in Ibadan, yeah, NNPC will now be selling 1,025 naira. It's just a sad one there. What's your take on this?
Thank you so much. Well, let us congratulate Nigerians on the World Health Mental Health Day. Yes, you know, it is actually a significant day to actually assess human living, because when we are talking about mental health, basically we are talking about how well are people living. And you know that one of the things that actually interests us about mental health concerns is that most times it is the reaction of mental health that people always see. You know, mental health issues or concerns is not something that you see, because most times it is psychological in nature. So it is when people start to, you know, commit suicide, you know, which is a byproduct of mental health concerns. And as you were reading the news headline, you also mentioned about standard of living, fuel price, and so on. So at this point, you see, by the time we sum everything together, sincerely speaking, Nigerians are actually strong people. Sincerely, we must commend ourselves. I'm telling you, because by the time you have been waking up since 4 a.m. for the past 2 years to go to work, and this, you know, just to go to work, go to farm, go to market, if you're a trader, and so on. And then in the last 2 years, hardly will some people point at what they have been able to do, despite the hard work, you know, despite the fact that they don't want to be begging. So definitely this set of people, you do not expect them to have a stable mental health. I'm telling you, because by the time you get to the market around 5 a.m., 6 a.m., and you leave around 6 p.m., 7 p.m., and at the end of the day, you could not even eat what you wish
you want to eat.
So it is a very serious issue. So it is not as if people are not working. That's the fact. People are working. But can we say this is what we are working for? That is the problem. By the time you talk about minimum wage, standard of living, you know, even the president, you know, after the removal of fuel subsidy, a year after now, we cannot say that this is what we have achieved, except the fact that they keep telling us to keep enduring. At this point, as at last year, they promised us CNG buses, you know,
to cushion the effect of the removal of subsidy.
As we speak now, can we see the buses? Only 10, 20 given to some states. You know, also at this point too, they also promised about food items and so on,
and even the thinking is not sufficient, because as a matter of fact, we are not eating what we are supposed to be eating. We are eating junks, because you want to eat average standard food that has all the condiments and things that could nourish body, you know what that means for a family of 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, a young lady came around one day. She priced biscuit. They told her the price. If I buy milk with this biscuit, will it be okay? Okay, how much is bread? They told her the least, I think then 400 naira. How much is Gary? That Gary I will need. She was calculating. He said, which one am I now going to buy? That is the daily mental state of an average Nigerian.
Wake up in the morning, all you are thinking about is
food.
Should it be?
That is what I'm saying. That's why the Bible says we must not live by this alone. But unfortunately, under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that is the only thinking of Nigerians.
That's the reality of Nigeria.
And that is the reality. Now, yesterday, I thought it was just a proposal. Something okay, as the custom is Nigeria. Now, okay, it's likely to. I was surprised I left here. By the time I hit the road, filling stations shut down. Only one filling station was selling at that time. Why? The information that fuel price will increase again. You see, we have been taken for a ride time and again, and I'm still very much surprised that the advocacy group, the opinion leaders, the testimonials that we have around, those with names, I don't know why they are keeping quiet in all of this. Because this same President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in his advocacy, I knew what he did when there was a marginal increase under President Jonathan way back. And this is the same man on the saddle that, just as someone said, who was visibly angry in the studio, that last month increase, now increase 195 naira, from 195 naira to 500 naira, Nigerians kept quiet. 500 naira to 600 naira, Nigeria stomached it. 600 naira, 800, and now 900, 1,000 plus. And you know what that means in our economy. You see, I don't know how we are so taken for a ride in this country, and unfortunately, we now keep quiet. If the same person that is, reeling out all of these hardship is the same person that advocated against marginal increase way back, and now we can't say anything, it's most unfortunate.
Okay, coming to what you said, we can't say anything. But let me take our idea, Janice's thoughts on that. NLC is speaking. NLC is saying something this time, saying NLC demands reversal as fake queues resurface. NLC negotiated minimum wage, and many Nigerians were saying, don't just negotiate minimum wage. Map out ways through which this economy will favor Nigerians. Let us see ways, not just about minimum wage alone. But then NLC is speaking again at this time, saying let us, the federal government should reverse the pump price to what it used to be some few weeks ago. What's your take on this, Kayode?
Well, thank you so much. I would say that most times we actually like to shift responsibilities. Yes, yes, I understand the place of NLC, trade union, labor union, and so on. But at the same time, it is not the duty of labor unions to fix the economy. Yes,
but then they are pressure groups. They can pressure the government.
Yes, they can.
They have a more structured.
They can present their
system to pressure the government,
which they have been doing. And then, in all honesty, yes, we the citizen definitely have a role to play when it comes to nation building. But at the same time, the bulk of the work lies on our leaders. That's the fact. We have elected them. We have given them the mandate to think on our behalf in some cases, but because of the kind of should I call it peculiar mess that we are in as a country, everyone now like to shift responsibilities and so on. At the point, some people will even tell you that our problem is not about leadership, it is about followership. Why I understand the roles that all these branches place. But at the same time, we should not forget that we have people that we have elected to be our eyes, to be our thinkers, to be our think tank. So what are we saying? So what I'm saying in essence is that fine, NLC have their role to play, and their role to play in the last few years, they might not be, optimal in it, but at the same time, they have been trying, they have been speaking. They are not the ones who implement policies. You know that we discussed at the last show that is our problem is not about policy formulation. We have policies, but the issue is how well are we implementing them? The will of our political leaders who have the resources at hand. So these are the issues.
Interesting word. Coming in the mod, you want to react to that?
Let me go back memory lane.
Okay.
Babangida, in its time under the military era, had another plan to elongate his term in office, and one of such was the way he truncated, the annulment of the June 12 election back then in 1993. I remember vividly that the like of these people, that's why it keeps occurring to me that certain group of people that we call leaders, advocacy group, the real Democrat, is like what is playing out now is showing that everyone is after his tummy, is after what benefits him. The like of Tinubu, then many of them then that gathered against that regime, even despite the military might, Babangida had no option but to hand over to an interim government in the person of Ernestine Condem before Abacha now took over. What am I trying to say? There is a pressure group. There are opinion leaders that we still have. They are not dead yet. All of them cannot die. And if some of them are exiting, there are younger ones that are supposed to be springing up, but I'm not seeing them. Let me tell you something. An average government out there likes to do things the way he wants, but the system is supposed to checkmate. Unfortunately, we don't have the system, but if you don't have the system, we should have the people, even from the diaspora, speaking against the hardship and the malfeasance, maladministration of the current administration.
Okay, you say an average government wants to do whatever they like or what they want to do by themselves, but then it seems this is what many Nigerians have been saying this government should do: deregulate the oil sector. Let market forces determine prices, and operators now are saying this is the real deregulation at this time.
What kind of deregulation? You see, I said something yesterday about redistribution of wealth and income. One of such that a government does is through welfare process, either subsidy, vouchers in some quarters, confiscations. That's where you have some properties owned by a certain group of people that they have not stayed for 5 years. And those properties are there, and some people are homeless. In some quarters, government gives certain directive. If you don't do something about this house or this property in the next 6 months, this is what will happen. It's either it's sold or we reconstruct it so that those who are in need will be able to benefit from it. There are ways government tries to, any government that focuses on the welfare of the people is not a rocket science. We know what to do.
And do you think this government is not trying enough in terms of welfare?
Which welfare? Welfare for who?
Welfare that are not sustainable.
Which welfare for who?
Continue to be distributing money to faceless people. That is what we have been saying.
We have talked about rice.
Policies are not sustainable.
Rice. Yes. Where is the rice?
Who gets into the grassroots level? Those that actually need them. Yes, when you talk about conditional cash transfer, trader money, where are all these interventions as we speak now?
It's just some paper.
They are not sustainable.
It's everyday situation. How do we continue like this? I don't know why somebody is so comfortable as the number one citizen of the country, and all of this happen, and you are able to eat.
Let's talk about the system as a whole. The Nigerian nation. What's wrong with us as a people? Because it seems when we want to get some things in proper perspective, you realize even at the issue of rice, realize when they said they want to start selling rice at 30,000 or 40,000 per 50 kg, they said some certain civil servants are sabotaging the effort of the government. What's wrong with the Nigerian mindset?
Let me tell you, many years ago, somebody came from Hanover, Germany. and we're discussing. He said he laughed when he sees some funny Nigerians out there. They want to play some pranks and do some funny things. That is not an haven for criminality, because you'll be caught. The system is so strong that even 10 years, if you're a criminal, they know they will find you out. We must get to, we are not deliberate and serious. Number one is our electoral system. If we can get it right, election wise, that the real mandate of the people is not subverted, then I think we'll begin to, put things right. When the will of the people is truly the one that occupies a particular seat, you will see results. But when it is, for instance, you can imagine some years back.
I am asking the question because you can imagine an army general who's in charge of palliative, diverting the palliatives to himself. Let's get some perspective into this. Army detains general over theft of palliative rice, military equipment. An army general. So you think that's an arm of government where there's a lot of discipline, but unfortunately, an army general is caught in the web too.
This is the problem, because he probably has seen many people who have done worse things than that have done it with impunity. When the crime festers, when the potential criminal realizes that his actions will be swept under the carpet. And that is why you keep seeing all of this. But if there is a system that tells you that, hey, you do this, this is the consequence,
and it will happen.
But in a situation where somebody will engage in certain criminality and a call from north, from the emir's palace or from the presidency, say, okay, no problem, we'll sort it out, you think it will fester. We are not serious with dealing with corruption in this country. And that's why I always have a saying, who guides the guard? Even the people that you put at the ends of affairs to fight certain criminalities, they too are real, is it one day bushmeat go catch the hunter? Who is the thief? Who is the you have all of these rhetorics around. That is the situation that better explains Nigerian matter at the moment. No serious, deliberate commitment, effort to fight corruption.
Interesting one there. Kayode Ajani, you want to talk about the whole system too. The Nigerian nation, the Nigerian system, the Nigerian is this the Nigeria of our dream? Talk about welfare. Government doing some little. Let's even talk about government want to be sincere, but then you see that some civil servants sabotaging the effort of government, and you ask the question, excuse us, what's happening?
Is this the Nigeria of our dream? Yesterday I was with some secondary school students, and after we recited the national anthem, I made mention of a statement that one aspect that actually interests me most in the new anthem is the saying that a nation where no man is oppressed. And as I think around it, then I came to the conclusion that, you see, oppression is not even about physical strength. It's not only a show of physical strength. It is also a function of mental health concerns, whereby you have some people working, they are not getting value for what they are working for. It is also an oppression. You have a country whereby, just as Comrade has said, there are some government buildings, that government have actually taken over for years that are underlocked, and you still have citizens of this country sleeping under the bridges all over the country. So these are oppression. So you see, by the time we pay attention to oppression in the physical form, in show of strength, no. By the time when we are talking about social welfare, social intervention, and you have one side getting more than the other side, it is also an oppression. So, and we cannot talk about having a balanced society or having a working system if we do not actually discuss all these inequalities, that is present among us. So what I will also say is that, you see, as a people, we can do better. And our leaders, I keep saying it, our leaders, they have the bulk of the work to do, because we have elected them to think for us, to give us that is why Okay, so you mentioned something earlier about people saying that some people are, sabotaging the effort of this government and so on. And I was like, governments that have all the resources, all the state machineries
to check all these things.
Exactly. So
FCC,
where
is ICPC?
That's the point. So
police.
That's why I keep on saying that it seems that those in power, they know how to use. How do we call it then? They know how to use all these tools of propaganda very well, and they have actually configured some Nigerians to actually believe that yes, government cannot do everything. Government that you have invested a lot of power into their hands to do and undo. Even the Yorubas will tell you that Ijoba is Amunimogun, just to show you how powerful it is. How powerful that institution is, and you are now telling us that some people are,
we're talking about cabals.
It is not just. It can never make sense to some of us.
Under a constituted government.
Sincerely speaking.
Maybe we are running a government just like one artist said that time. Chop your own, make I chop my own.
You can imagine. That's why that guy said, "Jeun. Now my people sabi jeun, everything now party. That kind.
Let's just move on this morning. We need to pay some bills. When we come back, we pick us. And then we read your comments on Facebook this morning. You drop your comments and you get the opportunity to chat with us live in the studio this morning when we open the phone lines. Do not go anywhere. Still News Lens right here on omoluwabi 87.7 FM. We'll be back after this short time out.
Fresh news, best talk, hot music, where else?
Omoluwabi 87.7 FM.
I will show you. Junior, don't do that.
Sweetheart, no matter what you do, we show you love. So you can show more love to everyone.
Mom, how do you show more love to everyone? I will show you love.
Show some more love today with 4 more packs of your favorite Indomie noodles in Indomitable and Super Pack cartons. Also, each Indomitable pack is now 200 naira, while Super Pack is now 350 naira. So hurry now. Offer valid till stock lasts.
Number portability. Yes. You can move your line from one network service provider to another without losing your number. When your network service provider is charging too much, or the quality of service from your network provider is not good, or has no service in your home or office area, the choice is yours as you can move to another operator. But before you move, ensure that you utilize all your credits. Good news is that as you move to a new operator, you will retain same number in your choice new network. Number portability is a service introduced by the Nigerian Communications Commission to offer more choices to the Nigerian telecom consumer. NCC, connecting Nigeria.
When it's bright and early, get your breakfast right. Then you need all the nutrients that will hold you tight. Then stay in power, you find it all in Peak. Then every move you make, Peak's got you all the way. And the Peak goes on.
Power on every morning with a Peak protein breakfast to make the most of every day. Peak, reach for your peak.
Everybody for you. My Sabi people, how una dey? Na Sabi people they listen to Sabi Radio. Omoluwabi Radio 87.7 FM. Na dem be Sabi Radio.
The voice of integrity 87.7 FM.
All right, you're welcome back. It's still Newslands right here on omoluwabi 87.7 FM. And just before we wait that break, I told you that we'll be picking your calls this morning. The studio lines are open 07047 007999 07047 007999. You can also call us on 08053 888933 08053 888933. Those are studio lines to call to be a part of the program this morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, your name and where you calling us from?
My name is calling from Soka.
Sorry, I can't get you clearly. Hello? Hello? Alright, please do where to call us back. That line isn't that clear there. You can just call us back 07047 007999 07047 007999. Can also call us on 08053 888933 08053 888933. Right, let's see who is there. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, your name and where are you calling us from?
I'm Stephen calling.
I can't get you clearly. Please do well to call us back. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, your name and where are you calling us from?
Thank you. I'm Bossa from Ibadan.
Alright, please make your point.
Thank you. On the increment of fuel that we just had yesterday, it's quite unfortunate. When we are crying to Mr. President that he should please work on how this fuel can be increased and that is the supply of fuel can be increased and then the price it brought down. Yet we are still experiencing increments. So for me, I still want to plead. We have been pleading and I don't wish.
Can do well to call us back. The studio lines are still open there, right here in the studio. 07047 007999 07047 007999. You can call us on 08053 888933 08053 888933. We really want to hear from Nigerians, but unfortunately, this is part of what we are talking about. The network isn't doing too well this morning. I don't know. Kayode Ajani, we made mention of. We are talking about something off air the other time. Talking about it's not just government. Many things are wrong with the Nigerian state. Many things are just about the system as a whole. Nobody's checking anyone. Service providers, everything is upside down.
Yes, you see, it is just like we running a government inside government. You see, even at place of work, you have bosses that they just do whatever they like, despite the fact that there is, operational guidelines and so on. So when it is just a complex society that we find ourselves.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, it's Bossa calling back.
All right, please make your point.
Hello.
Hello, we can hear you.
Okay. So like I was saying, I don't wish that the protests which they cannot be able to handle will happen in Nigeria, because over time now, the protests that occurred within this year are protests that are being led by opposition of the president. That is those being organized. But the one that will not be organized by anybody but the masses themselves are the ones the leaders will not be able to control. And I don't pray that such kind of protests come up in Nigeria. So our leaders should please rise to all this that is happening currently. And they should do the needful. Just like I've been saying, that they should maximize supply of fuel and also work on the price. There should be price control. And it should be regulated by the NNPCL. Thank you.
Thank you very much for being a part of the program this morning. Kayode Ajani, do you see any kind of protest springing up by the masses coming out of the streets, and a faceless protest?
Well, we have been saying it before now, Tayo. We don't know when it's going to be. But at a point, the people will rise, sincerely, because at a point, the people will rise. And just as the last caller rightly said, you see, we do not pray for a protest that will come with violence and so on. So that is why we are here to speak to the conscience of our leaders, provided some of them still have few left with them. So yes, all these things, you see, our problems, we know our problems and we know what the solutions to our problems, and it is our leaders that can spearhead the solutions, because our solutions also requires funding, allocation of resources, and we have elected them to control our resources for us. You can just imagine fuel now sells for over 1,000, and we still have a president that is yet to even rush to organize a live media conference with Nigerians. That yes, this sincerely, it's just so unfortunate.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Your name and where are you calling us from?
My name is Oluwatobi, calling from Dubai.
All right, please make your point.
My point is the only way out. The youth should have a collabo with the NSC. Because if any youth come out and they want to protest, they will still get it wrong. You can't say you want to end bad governance and be shouting that you overthrow the president and think you get the result. The best is just for the youth to organize themselves and collabo with the NSC. In agreement with NSC, that they will have a peaceful process and get a positive result. That's just the only way out, because if they don't do this, government will keep on taking the citizen for a fool.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You've made your point there. Let's see who's here. This last one we're picking this morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Please, your name and where you're calling us from.
This is Adenke from Muslim.
Okay.
Yeah, on the fuel of 18, a liter is now being sold from NNPC at 1,030 naira. I think NLC demands reversal as fuel queues resurface again. So it looks like the government is just trying to inflict more pains on we the citizens, which is not a good one. So they should try and please put necessary measures to put a stop to this ship that they are inflicting on us. And I also call on state governors too, that they should not put hands on deck, that their hands should not be on deck, so as they should not leave only the federal government on the fuel of 18 and try to contribute their own quota too. So thank God there in the state that the Sustainable Action for Economic Recovery Transport Scheme, the SAFER package in Oyo State, it has been extended by 6 months, which is a good one, but that's not the end. So they should try and do more. We are expecting more from there, because as then I could not go to work due to the hike in the fuel. Price. Thank you very much.
Thank you for being a part of the program this morning. All right, and that's all we'll be able to take on the program this morning. Thank you very much for being a part of the show this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Coming the you had to step out of the studio to get some things done. Sincerely appreciate everybody for being a part of the show this morning. We'll be signing out this morning with this one as a song from Nas Boy. He's saying Hunger Games. Vector jumped on this, and then this is just a perfect song to sign out with this morning. Until some other time, enjoy the rest of your day. My name is Oluwatayo Ajiwole.
As boy, no shit love. Food no day for boys to focus. Price no day, even Gary cost. Slim trousers don't turn to bogus. Hunger go kill person for Lagos. I dey slim them talks in a gym. Things too hard for this kind regime. Us are they no food to treat them. Hunger go kill person for Lagos. Jehovah, when will this pain be over? I dey pray hard and I dey pay tight too. Hunger still dey hold me tight. Hunger day, oh. Hunger day, hunger day. Hunger day, hunger day, oh. Hunger day, hunger day.
Import food where they grow when we plant. I for repeat the verse, but my ego really can't. I don't wanna because of intellectual power plants. The type where they off NEPA pants based on NEPA plans. To become a body, make a dance with the NEPA bands. Anyone you dare, you must collect as in better plank. Enough has been enough since way before Jonathan. But it can't be like say una engines, get another tank. School fees hike, that's another one. People stressing home and away, that's another one. You go get bars, till they choke, that's another one. You go make gains, till they broke, that's another one. And another one. But observation no be crime, that's another song. And another one. Observation no be crime.
It be like say them they use us play games. Hunger Games. I dey fear, I no want mention names. You we won't use 1.5 billion. Build borehole we be 5 million. You where they chop our money, oh. Private jets with the money, oh.